Hi there, welcome to Timberland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Libra energy, and like usual on this channel, we're going to refer to the top row as high vibe Libra energy, the bottom row is a more worldly, shadowy Libra energy. We all have our dualistic nature. We have to make decisions in our life, and we struggle within ourselves. Our more high vibrational nature of hope and faith and belief in ourselves and in our dreams and in love could want us to live life differently than we've been living life. But then the bottom row can just reference how we kind of like to stay in our comfort zone. And if we're going to move forward in life differently, we have to face our fears. We might have to implement some new ways of doing things or looking at things. And, it always takes time to implement for a new way of being to become like a habit and all those things. And some people would just be like, forget it, I'm just going to keep doing life the way I'm doing it. We could stay in our more worldly, shadowy nature because the truth sets us free. It's about learning lessons, and some people can't move forward right now because they still haven't learned the lessons they were meant to learn at the phase of life they've been in. They just don't view life differently. They haven't healed or grown or matured or tempered their more immature nature, prideful, bossy, controlling, self-centered, egotistical nature, right? And, we come in contact with all these different people, and some people in our life could be more high vibrational, some people could be a little more worldly or shadowy, and we just need to see the truth and accept the truth that people are where they're at. Quit trying to change people. If people were motivated to live life differently, view life differently, be different, they would be different, And some people, they don't have an interest in repeating kind of like an old phase of life. I've kind of been there and I've done that. I lived my life like that once upon a time. I don't want to live my life like that again. I'm moving forward in life differently. And so some people are moving forward in life differently. Some people aren't. Some people don't feel a need to move forward in life differently. We all feel a need or a desire to maybe do things differently. And again, heal and grow and mature ourselves and look at life differently at different times in our life. And we're not all on the same page at the same time. So let's go look at the bottom row first. The reason for the bottom row's reading is the Ten of Wands. Some people are overwhelmed about stepping out of their comfort zone to have a new emotional beginning. In order to move forward in life, they'd have to offer themselves a cup of love. About the things, the Ten of Wands can talk about all these things that overwhelm us. But if we're going to move forward in life differently, since the truth sets us free, the Eight of Pentacles is Virgo energy, and all of us tap into our Virgo energy if we're willing to put in the work and effort to kind of look at the truth of the things that overwhelm us. Or, we could be really immature, is what the Ten of Wands, kind of like an immature player in a way. Got a lot of lessons to learn still. There could be people we love, people we'd want to move forward with, we'd like to go get a new job. But if we're not ready to go to that phase of life yet, or we don't have the life experience, we're not mature enough, we don't have the skill or the education, we know if we go do it, it's really going to be overwhelming because we're not there yet, right? And some people decide, though, where I'm at and the way I have been living my life, that's overwhelming. So I am going, out of love for myself, I am going to start putting in that work and effort to have that new beginning. And the tens can talk about completing a cycle. And if we're willing to offer love to ourselves and to the past, to work through those things that overwhelm us, we can drop the burden from the 10 to the 1. But high vibe people know that they have to deal with the truth. Some people are like, I don't want to put in the work and effort, but I want to have that new beginning. And then some of those people try to move forward in life, like go get a new job, go get in a new relationship, but they still didn't put in the work and effort to learn the lessons they were meant to learn from the last one, but they think they can like cheat the system. I'll just go get a new job or get in a new relationship. I'll go put in work and effort to work somewhere else. But they still have all the baggage with them that they had in the last situation. They haven't done the work within themselves to drop those things that made the last job challenging, made the last relationship challenging, made the last place where you lived overwhelming. You know, if you keep carrying that baggage with you, you know, some people look to getting a new job, a new friendship, or a new relationship. Like, that's the answer. That will take care of all my problems. Well, it might feel like different. It might feel new and exciting. It might be working with maybe more mature, stable, grounded people. But if we haven't done the work within ourselves to work through how we contributed to those situations not working out, we're still repeating an old pattern. And we'll all repeat an old pattern until we've learned the lesson we were meant to learn from it. So, what could be the old pattern? Well, in the Page of Pentacles, we could be more aligned with our more worldly nature than our more hopeful, believing, loving, intuitive nature. And we might maybe we have a tendency to get in a relationship with people who are more immature. Well, just going and getting in a relationship with another immature person, we're still in a relationship with someone who's immature. We have to see the truth about, or maybe some people are more motivated and inspired to have hope and faith and belief and love, but then maybe they get in relationships with people who that isn't what really drives and motivates them. Well, we have to see the truth of it. If I'm more motivated by love and more just and fair and balanced relationships, but I'm in a relationship with people who might have a lot of lessons to learn, haven't learned to love themselves, haven't freed themselves from things that manipulate them, they might want to get in a relationship with me because I am more maybe stable, grounded, inspiring, and loving. But they have to do that work within themselves to grow and heal and mature, to be in that energy also. And for some people, that's not their truth. No, I want to still be kind of immature or more about myself or the world, but I want to be in a relationship with someone like you. Well, we all kind of like to hang out with people who are kind of on the same page as we are. And when other people are motivated and inspired to put in work and effort to grow and mature themselves and free themselves from things that manipulate them, they kind of, you know, could have gotten in relationships with people that really weren't on the same page as them, hadn't learned some of the lessons that they'd learned from the Page of Pentacles holding one pentacle to the Eight of Pentacles. You know, that's a lot of, the pentacle can be all the different lessons you've learned in life. How to temper your fear, how to temper your ego, how to temper your immature nature, your egotistical nature, your self-centered nature, your lazy nature, how to work more cooperatively with people, how to be self-inspired instead of looking to other people to inspire you. And if there isn't someone around to motivate and inspire you, you have no motivation and inspiration. You know, high vibe energy is about becoming more independent, learning to love yourself, feeling more balanced within yourself, loving and believing in yourself, offering yourself love and compassion, forgiveness to free yourself from the past. And some people haven't learned any of those lessons, really. You know, they just look to get in a relationship with someone thinking, I'll just work with someone and be in a relationship with someone who's done all those things. I don't have to do those things. And then the high vibe people get in a relationship with them and they are offering love and encouragement. And eventually, you can be in a relationship with people for quite a long period of time. And it's kind of like they're happy. You could look at the wands as being happy in the relationship, kind of indulging in the relationship. But eventually the high vibe people are like, are you going to put in work and effort to free yourself from things that manipulate you? Because I want to work with someone else who puts in work and effort to move this relationship forward. Not just me putting in the work and effort to move this relationship forward in maybe a more balanced, loving, authentic way. And then the other person's like, but that takes work and effort. You're just supposed to love me, maybe like a parent would love a child. You're supposed to indulge me in my more immature ways of being. And it's like, I find it overwhelming. I want to work with other people who are self-motivated. High vibe Virgo is to free yourself from things that manipulate you, to deal with the truth. And some people are like, but I don't want to see the truth. I don't want to deal with the truth. This is my truth. And I want to stay right here, maybe. Up above that, we have the Three of Wands. Like, I expect my dreams to come into reality. This is how I view life. And the other people are like, well, I used to view life like that once upon a time too. But I put in work and effort to grow and mature myself. And I'm not in my more immature energy or more codependent energy. And then we have a card not showing itself, which is the Ten of Cups. Some people haven't learned. Up above the Ten of Cups not showing itself is the Justice card, which represents Libra energy. In high vibe energy, in the Three of Wands, which is fire sign energy, we're motivated and inspired to get balanced within ourselves because Libra is represented by the scales of justice. I should be motivated and inspired to be balanced within myself so I'm not tipped out of balance, indulging poor behavior in myself or others, because that's kind of, I've got some lessons to learn in life. And when I do kind of stay tipped out of balance, I'm kind of indulging, which is what the Ten of Wands can talk about. I'm indulging poor behavior in myself or others. And, love is supposed to be just and fair. You're supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. And sometimes some loving people are very loving and giving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging. And they give a lot of love and encouragement to other people to try to get them to love and believe in themselves, to get more balanced within themselves. And again, some people are like, well, no. No. My idea is I just get in a relationship with someone who's like that. Ta-da! I don't have to do that work and effort. I have the idea. I'm just going to get in a relationship with someone who's like that. I haven't learned to align with my more hopeful, believing, loving nature, to be inspired, to put in this work and effort to get more balance within myself. I look to other people just like some people look to drugs and alcohol and sex and gambling. Some people look to relationships. You are the answer to my problems. I don't have to learn to love myself. I'm going to get in a relationship with someone like you that's loving and nurturing and just and fair and encouraging. And then that's the answer to all my problems. But eventually they find out it's not. Because they still have the same mental conflict that they had before they went to go invest in whatever they looked to be the answer to their problems, instead of seeing the truth. The Five of Swords comes after the Two and the Three and the Four of Swords, which are all Libra energy. I feel stuck. Things maybe didn't work out the way I wanted. I feel heartbroken. I'm going to meditate on the truth. And if people do that, they look at life from a higher perspective and high vibe Aquarius energy. They put things in perspective. I'm dealing with all these other people in the world that are somewhere on the spectrum of having learned some lessons in life, and they're motivated and inspired by what they're motivated and inspired by and what they think is just and fair. And, there's all these people in the world, and we're trying to find people who are kind of on the same page as us at the same time we're there. There's sometimes people aren't on the same page as us, right? And it can cause us a lot of mental conflict because we've all had people in our life since we've been children that we wish would have been more just and fair, but some of the people kind of rejected their more emotionally intuitive, loving nature, and maybe they were still kind of immature and maybe bossy or controlling or self-centered, or they thought that was just and fair. Well, we've all dealt with people who are like that, some worse than others, and it caused us mental conflict because we wanted justice in the situation. And there's a part of us in the Fool card that we can keep trying to kind of, if not with those same people, sometimes because of our mental conflict that people who might have a certain way of living life or viewing life or behaving in a way, we're kind of, it's like trying to, again, the fives talk about change. Like, we can keep being drawn and attracted to certain people. And part of it can kind of be because we're still in our ego about situations in our life that didn't work out. And it's kind of this thing that I want justice. I want it to work out this time. So I'm going to keep chasing after those immature people, and I'm going to love and encourage them, and they're going to love me, and they're going to quit being immature. I'm going to chase after that bossy, controlling person. They're going to love me. I'm going to chase after that immature person, that prideful person. I'm going to make them love me. And at what point, when we kind of realize the truth of and accept the truth of some of the people that we've dealt with in our life. Maybe they were emotionally cold and detached. Maybe they were bossy. Maybe they were immature. Maybe they were more caught up in themselves or the world or whatever. And maybe they weren't the loving, nurturing, inspiring person we wish we were, that they would have been. When we heal from the truth, it's kind of like offering love to it. I don't have to we're fallible human beings. We're all on this journey of learning these lessons in life. And some people, again, have learned more of them than some other people. We can still have love for people, still want to see them at Christmas, still want them as a part of our life, but we just accept that they are where they're at. And they're maybe not very just and fair. They might be a little bossy. They might be a little controlling or immature. The truth would set us free. And then we have the Nine of Swords. And in high vibe, what that could mean is it's taking back the Four of Swords, which is Libra energy. There are some people in my life that I wish were more just and fair and balanced and loving and nurturing, that I maybe wish would align with their more loving nature and their intuitive nature and hopeful and believing nature, and maybe look at life from a higher perspective. But some of those people, they're on their own journey, is what the Fool card can talk about. And they might have a lot of mental conflict about dealing with some truths. And if they haven't, I think my philosophy of what I think happens is that if we haven't healed from that past pain and heartbreak, it's like subconsciously, that's the Ten of Cups can talk about the subconscious. Subconsciously, we will be drawn and attracted to people because those things are still causing us mental conflict. We still haven't healed. Like I say, the tens can, in high vibe, can be about closing out a cycle. The nines can be that we're almost there, but we have to be willing to deal with the truth. And love is the answer to free us. I'm going to offer love to all those things in my past that overwhelm me. I'm going to offer love to myself. We've all been more immature, impulsive, reckless, self-centered, egotistical, prideful, bossy, controlling. I don't care if you had to go back to the age you were 8 or 5 to, when we understand if we want to understand other people better, it's to understand ourselves. Other people can be on a much bigger spectrum, and we can't quite relate how they can take things so far, or how they can be so stubborn, or so prideful, or egotistical, or hurtful, or unkind. But we've all probably had our own little life example of being that. And if we look at why we could have done what we could have done when we were more maybe immature, we can kind of understand why other people kind of do what they do. You'd kind of think some people, if you've kind of learned those lessons and grew up and matured yourself, you could maybe not understand why some other people who might kind of be the same age as you haven't done that also, But we're all on our own journey. And some people haven't had the life experience that some other people have had. Some people had people that were very controlling in their life. You have to live your life a certain way. And people weren't able to go on these life experiences to learn some of the same lessons that some other people did. And some of them know that maybe they were more inspired by the world, and Virgo energy in shadow can be that, in your more free will nature, some people invested more time, energy, and effort into their career, or into their looks, or into their social skills, or their social cloud, or their status, or their image. And other people were kind of more inspired, again, instead of being more tipped out of balance and making certain things more important, they kind of tried to have a more well-rounded perspective, and certainly could have been tipped out of balance at different times in their life, but they kind of learned these lessons to not be maybe so singularly focused, and kind of, well, here we have fire, we have air, we have water, we have pentacles. In between, we have the Fool card, which is Aries energy about the self. Some people went on those journeys. They had that hopeful, believing nature. Things didn't work out the way they wanted. They became independent of some of those situations, just like other people. It caused them mental conflict. But they didn't want to stay in sadness and regret and mental conflict and up in their head and feeling overwhelmed. So they made the free will choice. I'm going to offer love to myself, to do the shadow work, to work through my own fears and insecurities, to see the truth. Not everybody wants to be my friend. Not everybody wants to be in a relationship with me. Not everyone wants to hire me. I can go get in job friendships and relationships, and sometimes things don't work out the way I want. I'm willing to deal with the truth of it, and I'm willing to see where I need to heal and grow and mature myself, how I didn't maybe work together with people cooperatively, that I could have made some foolish decisions and repeated some poor past patterns. I had a way of viewing life that I thought was just and fair. And the same thing with some of the people I've been in a relationship with. Sometimes I was the one who was hurt, and they kind of took foolish risks because they had a way of viewing life, and they had lessons to learn, and they maybe weren't so just and fair. We've kind of all been on both sides of the coin of things working out the way we were the one who kind of had some growing up and healing and maturing to do. Other people had healing and growing and maturing to do. It's just that high vibe people are inspired. And I view the Ten of Wands as Sagittarius. It's about higher learning and education. They want to wrap their brain around this game of life. You know, I want to figure out, how did I contribute to it not working? How did the other people contribute to it not working? If I see that some people have some shadowy ways of being, maybe seem to have a lot of mental conflict. The Nine of Swords can be people who have a lot of fear of love. I get hurt doing love. I don't want to do love. You know, I might want to indulge in a relationship, but I don't want to take that cup of love. I am not willing to become independent of my more defensive, self-protective nature, which I view Libra energy is also represented by the King of Swords in tarot. And I view the King of Swords sometimes can be a person's like self-protective nature. And like, you can't go out there in the world, you could go get hurt. We need to live more from our mind than our heart. We're overwhelmed about love. We're fearful of having a new beginning. You know, if we're going to be in a relationship, we can be in a relationship, but we've got to be careful. We're not going to do love. We don't want someone to break our heart, maybe because we feel we wouldn't be able to pick ourselves back up again. You know, everybody does what they do that helps them feel like they maintain a state of balance within themselves and where they can keep maintaining balance within themselves. And for some people, love, that's just the complete danger zone. I can't go there. If I get in a relationship and I start to think, oh shit, oh my God, I'm almost thinking of loving that person. You know, that's like judgment. And that's when some people are like, oh my God, even though I'm sad, I can't do it. I just can't. You know, and that's in shadowy energy of ourself. We're more self-protective of ourself. And then we think it's just and fair to get in relationships with people, even though we might know the truth is we have fear of love. But I'll maybe go indulge in it until the person I'm in a relationship kind of realizes that shadowy Four of Cups can be, I kind of use my Cancer energy, regardless of what zodiac sun sign I am, instead of operating from a foundation of love and offering love to other people, I kind of use my emotions in a kind of a more shadowy way. I want to be in relationships with people, but I have fear of love. I don't really. High vibe energy and is about investing yourself emotionally in a relationship. And some people are like, well, I'm not willing to do that. But I'll, you know, again, the King of Swords, male or female, the kings can represent how we present ourselves in the world. People can present themselves in the world, I'm this just and fair and stable and grounded and emotionally mature, independent person. I'm not fearful, I'm not insecure, I'm not bossy, I'm not controlling, I'm not egotistical, I'm not defensive to love. And they try to present themselves as someone. The Three of Wands can talk about your dreams can come into reality with me. I am this just and fair person. If you will get in a relationship with me, you will get justice. And some people think maybe because they have put this work and effort into these things of the world, they do have maybe stability or security or power or influence or social clout, or they're attractive. I think I'm someone that people would view as having justice in the world. Like, people would want to be in a relationship with me because they view me as having these things of the world that people want. And if you want these things of the world, then come and get in a relationship with me. The only thing is, eventually you're going to realize that this is how I want to keep doing the relationship. I have fear of closing out this cycle to move forward in hope and faith and belief to do life any differently. I'd have to detach from an old way of viewing life, or viewing myself, or viewing others, or viewing relationships. If you are willing to reject that cup of love, of being more independent and moving forward, having hope and faith and belief in your dreams, you could stay in this job, this friendship or relationship by worldly standards. The Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. We kind of look like we have the dream life, or you have the dream job, or the dream friendship group. The only thing is, we could all get really stressed out if you start to love and believe in yourself and free yourself to become independent of things that currently manipulate you to make you be in this energy, because we're in that energy. We have things that manipulate and control us, and we don't plan to do the work to become more independent of the things that manipulate us. So if you get in a relationship with me and you are more codependent, wonderful. I'm more codependent. If you get in a relationship with me because you're kind of overwhelmed about being single and having a new beginning and believing in yourself, wonderful. Me too. Let's stay in a relationship. Let's get married. If you two are kind of immature and have mental conflict and you haven't healed, wonderful. I haven't either. Let's get in a relationship and stay in a relationship. The only thing is, we can all have gotten in relationships with people and we were all on where we were at in life and having learned lessons. We could have been attracted to people. We could have liked a lot of things about each other. A lot of the things I like to go do that kind of motivate and inspire me, or some of the things they like to do and that kind of motivates them, and the things that I kind of think are just and fair and how I want to live my life, or a lot of the things they like to go do and that they think is just and fair. I think we could have a dream come into reality. And I'm willing to take this leap of faith to do that. It's just that with some of the people in our life, everybody is willing, everybody has their high vibe nature and their more shadowy nature. Everybody has their things, that their fears, their insecurities, their self-limiting beliefs, their more immature, indulgent nature, whatever. High vibe people want to kind of grow and mature themselves to their full potential. And I don't want to keep repeating an old way of life over and over and over, more because of my fear of moving forward, stepping out of my comfort zone, maybe not loving and believing in myself. High vibe people are like, I do want to hold myself accountable in the judgment card. When my intuition tells me that I've been living my life at a certain phase of life, it's seeming to get overwhelming because I'm kind of inspired to do things differently, but I do kind of have to face my fears about going and trying new things, or putting myself out there differently, or getting a new job, or opening up more to get to know more people or something, or just go try different activities in my life. And I'd have to work through all those things of why I don't go do that if I'm kind of inspired to go do that. And if everybody is loving and encouraging to each other, the wands can be about being encouraging and supportive and offering love to each other, just like we have to offer love to ourselves to do that. We offer love to people in our relationships to do that with us. And if everybody is willing to face some of their fears and insecurities, to become independent of some issues from the past, or being more about themselves, or their more immature nature, or defensive to love, or being egotistical and self-centered, or more caught up in making their life the most important thing is these things of the world that we indulge in or make our life about. I want high vibe energy again, and high vibe Libra is about being more balanced. Do I want the things that I want? And is there things of the world I want? Yeah. But also, do I want authentic, loving, just, fair, balanced, encouraging, supportive relationships? Well, then I have to be that type of person and maintain balance within myself, not to indulge being more about me or these things of the world if I also want that. So I have to maintain balance between my more worldly nature and my hopeful, believing, loving nature. If I want people who are more loving and independent and inspired to hold themselves accountable, I need to be someone who holds myself more accountable. And then there's some people in our life that do that with us, and we love and encourage each other. Do we have to be on the same page at the same time? It's like, no, that's not my life, but I want you to go do what you want to go do, and I want you to grow to your full potential. I might choose a different path, and maybe it could cause me a little mental conflict, because our shadow nature could be our ego and our jealousy and our envy. But, if I don't have the unique talent, skills, and interests that you're going to go be a whatever in the world, well, I love you. I want you to go do that. That might not be my lot in life, but I have my own unique talent, skills, and interest. And, if I put in work and effort into my unique talent, skills, and interest, if we all work with what we've been given, and we all have our ideas of what makes us happy and what we find fulfilling, we'll all have justice in our own way, but different. So some people don't mind that we're kind of on different pages. You might know some people are more immature than you. They seem completely happy and blissful. Could you be in a relationship with one of them? No. Yeah, but you're not on that same way of viewing life or emotional maturity level or things that drive and motivate you or doing those activities all the time. It's like, no, that would not be for me. And everybody's trying to find people that are more on the same page as them. But high vibe people deal with the truth. I can want what I want. I can think I'm the boss. I should be able to control or manipulate people to get them to do what I want. And some people try that and other people leave. Some people are very egotistical and full of themselves. And they think people should want to be in a relationship with them and other people leave. Some people are more motivated by the world and ego and image, and some other people realize that, and it's like, oh my God, it's like, it consumes you, What about love? What about some balance in your life? It's like, no, this is the most important thing, male or female. I have to have a certain status or image, or I'm sure if I have those things, it'll make me happy. It's like, oh my gosh, high vibe energy is about, I don't have to have it all. I want a balance, and high vibe people are willing to become independent and deal with the truth. I'm not willing to sacrifice my independence, living my authentic life. Some people are willing to give up their independence and their more authentic life to have a certain status or image in the world. Are you going to stay in jobs you don't like, or would you rather go get a job that might not pay as well or whatever, but you love going there every day? And then you trust that somehow the divine will use, because the divine knows we want all those things that we could have if we did live a more petty life, selfish life, deceitful life. And I believe the divine has a different plan for us. If we put in work and effort into things that motivate and inspire us, and we have hope and faith, the divine will work with us to bring those things into reality. But the thing is, shadowy energy represented by the devil at the big picture, we want it now, or we want kind of instant gratification. And the people that are willing to put in the work and effort, because to think that you should be rewarded without effort, and some people think, I want all those things and I don't want to have to put in the work and effort. I want to win at all costs. Let me go look at someone who seems like their dreams are coming into reality, and I'll go get in a relationship with them. I don't want to move forward with the people who are less consumed with wanting it now, who are willing to put in work and effort. But I think judgment will go in favor of the people who put in the work and effort. For one thing, they're not overwhelmed because they're living more from their mind than their heart, being in situations as a mental strategy to get what they want. They're going with the flow. They're inspired to put in work and effort where they're at and with the people they're at. Where the other people could be like, oh my God, I don't even like this job and I don't even like these people. Oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming to work with these people. But because these people have these things in the world that I want, I'll keep staying in a relationship or staying at this job. You know, we're free to manifest the life that we want. And some people really have mental conflict with the truth of either becoming more independent because they might have other people in their life, friends or family that live their life more like this, who aren't more independent in the world, more authentic, make their life more about conforming to the world and look at the justice I have and look what a wonderful life I have and look what I have mentally constructed and all the strategy I did in order to have this. And it's like, oh God, the other people are just moving forward in love, offering love to other people, to work together from love. And there could be some people right now, you know, we can all kind of indulge ourselves at different times. We can all indulge other people, kind of hoping other people will change. And eventually we get to the point where it's like, I can't change other people. If my truth in my Libra energy is that I am inspired by love and to be more independent in the world and motivated and inspired more by love and balance, and I'm in relationships with people who it's either got to be all about them or it's all about the ego or the image or me indulging them, and I've been trying to maybe be loving and encouraging to help them work through their fears or their immature nature to look at life differently. I can't make someone look at life differently. I can't make them get out of their head. If that's what makes them feel safe and secure, or they're immature, or bossy, or controlling, and that's what they think is the way to go, I'm going to offer myself that cup of love to become independent of the people in my life I need to become independent of. And it starts with me becoming independent from my own more worldly, codependent, immature nature. And when I work through the things that manipulate me that would make me stay in those relationships, then I'm not the same person I was before. I was inspired to change me. And then I kind of am not on the same page as those people. And as some of you are moving forward, there could be different people in your life, people from your past, your present, and your future that you'll meet. Some of those people will think, oh, I bet you think like I think. I'm going to approach you to try to get you in a relationship with me. And then they're going to realize the truth that, oh, you've moved on. Oh, you're not in that energy? You don't want to be in a relationship with me for these reasons? It's like, no, I want to be in a relationship with people who are inspired to, who are enlightened to the truth that it's about love. Not getting in a relationship just to be in a relationship because I have mental conflict and fear about if my dreams will come into reality. No, that's not why. If I get in a relationship for those reasons, I'm planting bad seeds and I won't grow a good harvest. If I get in relationships with people who I know are immature or bossy or controlling or caught up in those things in the world, we're a mismatch. It's not going to work out. I've already been in relationships with people like that. And some of those people are going to be like, damn, now I got to go find someone else to go get in a relationship with because I have a problem with doing life the way you want to do it. And it's like, that's fine. You go do your life the way you want to do it. I'm going to keep trusting that the divine has a plan for my life. And I'm going to keep loving and believing in myself and moving forward. And I already know that doesn't go in my favor. That isn't my truth. And I believe God wants me to get my divine inheritance. And I'm not going to get myself tangled up in something I shouldn't be tangled up in. I'm going to keep moving forward. And I'm going to go enjoy if it's not being in a romantic relationship, then I'm going to enjoy my life being single, my friends, my family, growing, healing, maturing, my work, all these other things that I can invest my time, energy, and effort into that are part of the dream. If I'm in a relationship and that part's going okay, then maybe why don't I go put more work and effort being more balanced into my career or my own unique things, that inspire me and motivate me. I have my own unique talent, skills, and interest, and I'm kind of inspired to pursue them. And the whole thing is, when some people get in that energy in their life at some point in time, that's when some other people are like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. You're not in this energy anymore. You've changed. You've healed. I haven't. I don't view life that way. I still view it this way. And I want to go hang out with people who view life the way I view it. It's like, okay. So what's coming up for the people who are harnessing some high vibe Libra energy? Who are holding themselves and other people accountable for their actions, not staying in denial and up in their head about people who aren't, that this isn't their truth. Get out of your ego about it. The Two of Cups. Why? Because of the King of Swords and the Six of Cups. By dealing with the truth and maintaining balance within yourself and offering love to yourself, to maintain balance within yourself, it helps you. The Six of Cups can be about reconciling yourself with the past, so the past doesn't overwhelm you. Other people in your life that acted this way or acted that way or didn't want to move forward in this way. I just accept that everybody's where they're at. If people were more hopeful and believing and loving and free from what manipulates them, I think everybody would be just and fair and loving and balanced people in the world, but they're not. And the people in my life who do treat me that way are the people I'm going to keep working with. And the people who didn't want to work together with me, the sixes can also talk about balance. If they don't want to speak their truth, be more just and fair, also the Six of Cups in Scorpio energy can be, some people don't want to do a deep, meaningful relationship. They might harness a more shadowy Scorpio energy, which can be where they like to keep their emotions more buried beneath the surface. It might be more about having sex with people, which is what the fire energy can talk about. I'll use my emotions, my sexuality, all these things. I don't think I really got to do love. I don't really want to emotionally invest in someone. I get hurt. It's like, I want to be in relationships with people who do feel balanced within themselves enough and have healed from past pain and heartbreak, and they're more immature, self-indulgent nature to want to be in a deep, meaningful relationship. And I think as you keep moving forward in that energy, there's going to be people who are going to want to be in a relationship with you. Some of them know, though, they'd have to do love. And some of them aren't willing to do that. It's like, that's okay. You go get in a relationship with someone else. I would rather not be in a relationship and put in work and effort into all these other things in my life and enjoy my life than be in a relationship that causes me a lot of mental conflict, stress, and anxiety with people who are immature, bossy, controlling, take foolish risks in a relationship, don't offer me love, and I'm putting all this work and effort to try to make it work. It's like, you do you with someone else if you want. I'm going to enjoy my life. And I think, though, as you are this stable, independent, just, fair, loving person, there's going to be people that are going to get out of their own mismatched ways of living life and relationships because you inspire them to put in the work and effort to heal and grow and mature themselves. Underneath that, we have the devil. And the devil can talk about people we're attracted to. that challenge us to love and believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams. But we have to get over those fears that we have of doing love. And the people who overcome it have these brand new beginnings that are authentic and loving and warm and encouraging and supportive. And the people who don't keep investing in their ego and their more defensive nature or caught up in these things of the world. And they might look victorious or successful or look like life's peachy keen, but they might know that the reason is more out of the devil can talk about codependency, immaturity, ego, self-centeredness, want to look like a shining star, want to manipulate and control people, want to feel safe, living more from your mind than your heart, and other people are willing to be authentic. So what's coming up for people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Libra energy? We have the Death card and the Eight of Swords. Why? Because of the Seven of Wands. So the Death card can be that some people are not willing. I kind of view the sevens as tipping in favor of one side or the other, because like in our dualistic nature of having to make decisions, we have the 12 zodiac signs that are all the traits and characteristics of ways of being that we can tap into. Our emotional nature, our air sign energy, our earth sign energy, our fire sign energy. We kind of have to tip and scale. The scales have to tip kind of slightly in favor of one or the other. Some people are unwilling to harness high vibe Leo energy, like the sun. I am not willing to be more authentic. I am not willing to stand up to my own shadow nature. I am not willing to put an end to being in a mental prison about love. I want to stay in my mental prison. I might be shadowy Scorpio energy. I might be more emotionally shallow and superficial. I might think it's just and fair for me to operate from my ego, manipulate people, control people, indulge myself. I'm just going to go find someone else who I think is in a mental prison about standing up for themselves. And I'll go get in a relationship with them until they do learn to maybe love and believe in themselves. And then they'll maybe move on. I won't be up in my head about it. I'll just go find someone else to go indulge in a relationship with. Because for some of those people, it's really just all about them. And it doesn't really have anything to do with anyone else. I don't plan on changing. I'm all about me. I don't want to be in long-term emotionally fulfilling relationships. I just want to indulge myself in the world. And if people are willing to indulge me for a time, yippee. If it gets to be where they're not, I could be sad and I could miss them. But I don't make my life about investing in other people. For some people, they're always going to have people in their life who harness this energy in a more high vibrational way. They're probably at any given time have some people in their life that are standing up and defending them because they're afraid of getting out of their own mental prison and quit viewing this as a victory and moving on. But eventually the high vibe people in their life want them to put an end to their defensiveness and being in a mental prison and move forward in love. And eventually the high vibe people can't ignore the truth anymore. And they're not going to keep defending this. And they're not going to keep staying in a mental prison about it. And they're going to get inspired to love themselves, to work through why I would stay in this relationship or job or friendship anyway. It's toxic. The devil looks just like the Lover's card, except that the people are in chains and shackles. And it's not just and fair. I'm going to invest in loving myself, giving myself the things that I wish other people would have given me, to get balance within myself, to take this leap of faith, Am I sad that those people didn't want to work together with me cooperatively from love? Yes. But I offered them truth and love and inspiration, and they turned their back on that. So I'm going to take that cup of love to know my worth and value and go find people in the world who are more on the same page as me. And some of the shadowy people did not see that coming. And then some of those people are really stressed out because the people in their life were illuminated to the truth. And then it's like, shit, now I gotta go find someone else. I gotta go look for someone else that I can go try to manipulate. Because I am unwilling to work through my toxic ways of being or my fearful ways of being or whatever. I am not willing to move forward and be more authentic or more loving or more just and fair. I don't like being that way. I like indulging my more immature nature. And I'll go find someone else who's got some mental conflict, who's defensive, who hasn't healed from their past pain and heartbreak. I'm sure they'll invest in me because I look so victorious or successful or charming or attractive or whatever. And the people who don't... So the whole thing is you're moving forward in your life. You stand in your truth. You're willing to get to know people. But I'm not going to invest in someone more until I know the truth of kind of what drives and motivates them. Are they balanced? Are they healed? Are they immature? Are they prideful, egotistical, unjust, unfair, unloving, haven't learned to love themselves, just want to get in a relationship because they're single? It's like, yeah, no, that's not why I want to be in a relationship. It's just because I'm single and you're single. I only want to be in a relationship with people who I think I'm on the same page with. And so some of those people are going to have to go away. You know, they're going to have to go find someone else. And then they're mad that other people loved and believed in themselves and they're not in a mental prison anymore. And they've freed themselves to go have these new beginnings. But they're not willing to do that work to free themselves to have those new beginnings. So they go repeat this old pattern again. So there you go, Libra energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.